Okay, this video will show you how to work through this project. I'm going to zoom. I cannot zoom out. Okay. Alright, so if you haven't already, please put your name on the paper. Yay, here's my name. This project is due on December 21st. And then I'm going to adventure in Los Angeles, California. But you will put the place you're adventuring there on whatever class period you have. And Ms. Blackshear is your teacher right here, Ms. Blackshear. Okay. For this first part of the worksheet, you need to write down the 3 locations you have in each triangle. So my 3 locations for my first triangle are the Hollywood Bowl, Solar Sound, and In and Out. So I will write those things on my paper. Hollywood Bowl, Solar Sound, and In and Out. My second right triangle locations are Hollywood Walk of Fame, Stars, and the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. So I've got Hollywood Walk of Fame. Give me one moment, guys. Okay, so now I have all 6 of my locations written down. The next portion of this, your goal today is to finish everything under the words first right triangle. So you want to finish the left half of this page. Just because I haven't said it yet, the second page is a checklist. So you should already be able to check off that first section. This was just creating your map and sharing it. After this, this is your second goal. This is your today goal. This is the December 19th goal. And then December 20th goal. Okay, and then there's a rubric for your projects down below. Today our goal is to make all of our first right triangle things done. So under the first right triangle, we want all of that to be done. Looking here, I need to determine what the leg A is going to be. So I'm going to my map, and remember the leg is something adjacent to the right angle. My right angle is going to be by the Hollywood Bowl, that angle formed right there. So one of the legs will be from Hollywood Bowl to Solar Sound. So I'm going to write, I'm just going to abbreviate it, Hollywood Bowl to Solar Sound. Okay. The other leg, leg B, I'm skipping the distance, I'll get that in just a second. So I'm going to leg B. Leg B is going to be the other leg, so not Hollywood Bowl to Solar Sound, but mine is Hollywood Bowl to In and Out. So whatever 2 sides that you have that outline the right angle, that's what you'll use. So here's the Hollywood Bowl and In and Out. Okay. The bullet underneath determining or defining what the leg is in that right triangle is to find the distance measured on the map. So to do that, we go to our map and we click on this ruler icon. That'll help me measure the distance between areas. To be really accurate, you might want to zoom in a little bit, not that much. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, and then click on the ruler icon and click where you have one location, and now it'll measure the distance. So I'm going to end on my other location right here. That is 0.988 miles. So my first leg, Hollywood Bowl to Solar Sound, 0.988 miles. If you have locations that are really, really close together, it might measure in feet. So you're going to have to make sure you're paying attention to that. Now I want to measure the other leg, Hollywood Bowl to In and Out. If you click on the ruler icon, it'll get rid of the ruler. And then click on the hand icon and it'll let you move your map again. So I need to zoom out a tiny bit. Well, I don't get to pick. There we go. Okay, here's my ruler icon. Now I'm measuring from the Hollywood Bowl to In and Out. 0.962. So 0.962 miles. Okay, after that, it wants you to use Pythagorean theorem to determine the length of the hypotenuse. Why are we not just measuring the hypotenuse with the ruler? You'll see that in a second. So just follow the directions. You will measure it with the ruler tool in a moment, but not right now. Pythagorean theorem is going to help us find the third side of that right triangle, which in this case would be the hypotenuse, or C. So we've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The legs are a and b, so I'll use 0.988 for one of the legs and 0.962 for the other leg equals c squared. Okay, so your goal here now is to solve for c. That looks like either adding or subtracting after you have your numbers plugged in. You only get to subtract if you know c, so we're going to have to add. So I'm going to go to Desmos. I need 0.988 squared plus 0.962 squared, and that gets me 1.901588. 1.901588. So I'm writing that down on my paper, and remember that solves for c squared, but we are looking for just regular c. To get rid of the square, you take the square root. Squares and square roots undo each other, so now we'll take the square root of that number, square root of 1.901588. That's about 1.378 blah 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 blah. So we have a square root that equals a decimal. That's going to be an irrational number. I'm going to round to the nearest tenths, so I'll say 1.4. 1.4, and this was all in miles, so that's probably going to be miles. That is miles as well. 1.4 miles. Now we're going to use the measuring tool to measure the hypotenuse. So if we've done everything correctly, making our right triangle, doing our math, then those numbers should be the same. So now we go back here and we want to measure the hypotenuse. So I'm taking my ruler icon and measuring from in and out to solar sound because that was my hypotenuse. That is 1.42 miles. 1.42. I rounded this to the nearest tenth, so I'll also round this to the nearest tenth. That would make it 1.4 miles. Now I want to know, is this a right triangle, and how do I know? So for this piece, yes, I have a right triangle because C with Pythagorean theorem matches the measured hypotenuse. Okay, that is all for today's goal. If you want to get a head start on tomorrow's goal, tomorrow you'll be doing the exact same thing but with triangle 2. In triangle 2, instead of solving for the hypotenuse, you'll solve for another leg. So you will start by defining the leg and the hypotenuse, and then you'll find the missing leg. So instead of adding your squares, you'll have to subtract, and then you'll measure the leg and determine if it's a right triangle there. And that is all I have for this project. If you have questions, message me on Schoology.